Disclaimer. The word female is used often throughout the video to refer to women. Viewer discretion is advised.
Female representation in anime. Let's talk about it because it's a very popular topic in the anime community. Because for a lack of a better term, anime's portrayal of women is garbage. Now, before we go any deeper in this video, I want to emphasize that when I say anime, I mean shonen anime specifically. But anyways, as our society gets more and more progressive, we expect our media to evolve and reflect the current times that we're in. 10 years ago, female representation was not that important in shonen anime. I mean, come on. Dragon Ball, one of the biggest media franchises in the world, has nearly all of their female characters being portrayed as mothers, which isn't bad, but for a shonen anime, I want to see some of these women throwing hands. However, in today's day and age, we expect our women characters to be in more and diverse roles. I don't just want to see them as mother support. I want to see them being like the main character, the main villain, a side character, whatever. And while it has certainly gotten better over the years, I think it could use some improvement. So in today's video, I'm going to be showing you how to do female representation in anime. Now, the first and most important step when writing characters is to make a good character. Now, I am always preaching this. You don't write good female characters. You write good characters that are women. And what I mean by this is that when it comes to female representation and writing women, focus on writing a good character, and in turn that character will be a good representation of women. You shouldn't just want to write a good female character or good representation. You want to write a good character that people will connect with. You must have a well-written character. Like, let's look at Fairy Tail for instance. Alright, cut it out. Despite all the fan service that plagues Fairy Tail, it surprisingly has a good cast of female characters, most specifically the best character in the entire show, the Queen of Fairies herself, Urza Scarlet. Now notice how I said character, not female character, because at the end of the day, Urza will be a top tier character, whether she was a man or a woman. She just so happens to be peak fiction and a woman. Like, it's not that hard, y'all. I don't like Urza because she's a woman. I like Urza because she is compassionate, relatable. She is a character that has struggled throughout her life, and as the audience, we see her grow and become a better character throughout the series. We've seen Urza when she was a slave during her childhood, seen loved ones die right in front of her, betray her, had her own mother abandon her. She had so many horrible things happen in her life, and she still doesn't allow this to change who she is as a person. She is still a person who loves desserts, fashion, and most importantly, her family and friends, and she will fight relentlessly for them until she is victorious, and that is why I like Urza. Another one of my favorite characters in all of anime has to be Rukia Kuchiki from Bleach, easily one of the coldest characters in Bleach. What I like most about Rukia is her journey and growth throughout the series. When we first see her, she is so weak that she has to rely on a mere human to do her job for her. But throughout the series, we see her grow not only in power, but as a person. Rukia at first didn't open up to people and had trouble making friends, but now she has friends that she can not only confide in, but are willing to risk their lives to save her. Before, Rukia was weak, and she wanted the admiration of her brother, and by the end of the series, she is not only acknowledged by Byakuya, but she has become so strong that she was able to defeat Asnat with the most beautiful Bankai in the Soul Society. There's a trend recently with media trying to make a good female character is by making them the most insufferable people on the planet, or just making it to where they have no redeeming qualities. Captain Marvel, for instance. And I'm here to say that it's okay for women to be soft and sweet. That's a character trait that people like Emma, for instance, from The Promised Neverland. Who doesn't love Emma? She's a great female main character that is soft, sweet, and caring. But at the same time, she is tough, dependable, athletic, and an inspiration to others. Then we got Izumi Curtis from Full Metal Alchemist, who is a woman and is not afraid of it. She is a mother through and through, a housewife. And yet, at the same time, she is still one of the most badass and powerful characters in the entire series. Hell, she trained the main characters, and you see her mountain of a husband, yeah, she can whoop his ass, and yet, that is still her man, and she loves him with all of his heart. On paper, that'll make any blue-hair feminist catch on fire instantly, but this is still a badass female character. And what ties all of her together is that she is a human, she makes mistakes. When Izumi miscarried her baby, she dabbled in a forbidden human transmutation, and in return, she lost the ability to have a baby. Whenever you're writing a character, you have to make sure that that character is a good character, and in turn, they'll be a good character for representation. But arguably the second most important thing to remember when writing women in anime is to make sure that they are well incorporated into the world, because in the real world, women and men are living in harmony. But make sure your female characters aren't just there for the sake of being eye candy. Make sure that they're just not off somewhere where none of the main story is taking place. The women in the story should serve a purpose to the plot or the universe at large. Because if they aren't, then what's the point of them being there? They're just useless at that point. For example, look at Sailor Moon. I haven't watched it, but seeing that that's a series where the main character is a woman and the rest of the supporting cast is majority of women, I think that's crazy. Just look at that, women everywhere, and none of them know where to eat. Please don't cancel me. Or we can take a look at Bleach, for instance. Whenever the topic of female representation in anime comes up, the conversation always ends up taking a look at Bleach and seeing how Kubo handles his female cast. And Kubo does a good job of this. There are female characters in every corner of Bleach. You have a female main character, at least one woman on every villain team, a female vice captain, female captains. There are even 2 women on Squad Zero, the strongest squad in Bleach. They're serious female characters, not so serious female characters. They have them all. Hell, Bleach even has a variety of body types, unlike One Piece. You have tall women, short women, thick women, flat as justice women. And all of that could be applied to some of the newer generation of animes that Bleach inspired. Jujutsu Kaisen and Black Clover are also brought up in these conversations. You have characters like Maki Zenin, Noelle Silva, Nobara Kugasaki, and Mereoleona. And I'm gonna just slide Toga and Uraraka in here real quick because despite what any of y'all say, MHA has a good female cast. It's not the best, it could be better, but it's alright, and Toga and Uraraka stand at the very top. But there's 2 animes that I want to highlight here that I think do the best job of incorporating women into the world, and that's Full Metal Alchemist and Chainsaw Man. Both Full Metal and Chainsaw Man are at the very top when it comes to female representation because both series know how to utilize women in the story and can provide a wide variety of women. From Full Metal, you have characters such as the Smoke Demon herself, Olivier Maria Armstrong, the Seductive Lust, and the best girl, the greatest ride or die in all of anime, Riza Hawkeye. Full Metal has all these different women with all these different ties and allegiances. Then we look at Chainsaw Man, who has a variety of female characters like Power and her unwashed ass, the playground sniper Himeno, and everyone's favorite girl, Kobani. Oh, and you have Makima, but I want to save her for later. All of the Chainsaw Man women are prevalent and nearly all of them are interesting in their own ways, despite all of them being pieces of shit. It's not enough to have 1 or 2 token women in your series. In my honest opinion, I think at least half of your cast should be women, or at least 40%. Also, shout out to Sinnoh League champion Cynthia, the strongest trainer in the Pokemon universe. From anime to video game, Cynthia alone is the honored one. But yeah, quick summary, just make sure that your female characters are prevalent, okay? It's not that hard, just give us a good handful of them. Hell, even Fairy Tail does that. Like I said earlier, Fairy Tail has good female representation, if you can look past all the fan service. Yeah, I know, I didn't want to talk about it, but we have to talk about it while on this subject matter, so let's get it over with. Anime has a problem with fan service. A lot of people don't like it. It appears in a lot of animes, and me personally, I don't mind it as long as you follow 3 rules. Rule number 1, fan service should be used in an anime where I expect there to be fan service. Rule number 2, non-fan service animes should have fan service from time to time, like once every 5 episodes, or after intense moments. And rule number 3, I'm okay with fan service as long as it's a part of the character's identity. Now, for examples of animes that break all of these rules, fucking Fairy Tail. Listen, I'm a man, I love boobs just as much as the next guy, but sometimes too much of a good thing is not good. Now, let's talk about some good examples of characters following these rules. First of all, we have Akano from High School DxD. Now look, I know it's not a shonen, but just let it slide, okay? I want to talk about Akano. Now, Akano's fan service moments only come during times when she's either having an emotional breakdown or trauma, or trying to hunch on the very man that has helped her through her darkest times. All of this is in her control. None of this is by accident. All of this is from Akano's character. All this is a part of her character. Akano had a very troubled past with her father, and in turn that led her to hating all men. But besides one, Issei, the main character, who has helped her through this trauma, and in turn, she has gained an emotional attachment to the one man that she can trust on the planet. So in a way, all of her fan service moments are character development. This is a good example. Now another good example is Lust from Fullmetal Alchemist. Her design alone would indicate that she'll be nothing more than eye candy, Rule 34 bait, but she actually ends up being one of the most impactful characters in the entire anime. Lust commits all of this chaos while looking this damn fine. Or we can take a look at Yoko Littner from Gurren Lagann. Now off rip, just looking at her, I know people are going to get mad. She is hella revealing. Nobody dresses like that in real life. But the thing about her outfit is that she chose to wear it. She is very comfortable with herself and her body. She doesn't mind men gawking, looking at her. She doesn't care. You know why? Because she has that bad bitch energy. And again, she is one of the most important characters in Gurren Lagann. Also, quick shout out to Marin Kitagawa from Dress Up Darling. She would definitely fit into this category, but I think we are treading some dangerous waters here, so let's move on. Now, the next character that we are going to be talking about is a character that I feel like hits every single point that I mentioned in this video, plus one additional one. Spoiler warning for Chainsaw Man coming in 3, 2, 1. Now, there's one more point that I want to add on for when you're writing a female character, and that it's sometimes your character has to be a woman. Sometimes it is important for the character to be a woman, and no other character fits that role than Makima. Makima is a fantastically written woman in this insane world of Chainsaw Man, with all these different devils and fiends and violence and blood. Makima is the most normal and calm person. She stands out from the other characters, and throughout the series, we see her manipulate our beloved characters into doing her bidding, and she slowly turns into the villain, and it makes for some of the best character writing in modern shonen. She exploits our characters' strengths and weaknesses, their likes and dislikes, their insecurities. She uses all that against them to manipulate them into doing what she wants, and there's no other victim bigger than Denji. Now, Denji is just like any other teenage boy. A guy driven by horniness. And what does Makima do with this knowledge? She uses her feminine body, her womanly looks, to seduce Denji into doing what she wants. Now, Makima as a character could not be this good, could not manipulate Denji unless she was a woman abusing her sexuality in order to manipulate Denji, which is something that is kind of meta. Because in real life, we've made it a bad thing to bash women for using their sexuality, but in this case, we're supposed to boo Makima. Yes, it's bad for women to express their sexuality, but at the same time, she's doing it in the wrong way to the wrong person. And that's what makes her as a villain, as a character, compelling. And all that cannot be done unless Makima is a woman.